All right. Hello, my name is Jeffrey Cook. I am a firefighter and paramedic with the City of Las Vegas Fire and Rescue. I've been with the department for 6 years. I have an associate's in fire science and a bachelor's in fire administration. Today, I'm going to be speaking about the future of community risk reduction, what that means for your department going forward, and some of the challenges that may come up along the way. We're also going to talk about different ways to overcome some of those challenges and how we might go about implementing some of these programs in the future and getting buy-in, not only from the community, but from the department and from the fire service in general. It's going to be one of those things. Everybody knows that firefighters are incredibly hard to change. We are overwhelmingly alpha personality types who are very accustomed to doing things the way that we want to do them, and it takes quite a bit of influence in order to bring about some change. So those will be some things that we touch on along the way. Today's discussion will span crucial aspects, including the fire service culture, community outreach, training, and education, changes in the workforce, the challenges that lie ahead. And as we embark on this journey, we let us scrutinize each facet to discern insights that will fortify our approach to fire prevention, ensuring the safety and well-being of our communities in the years to come. All of those fire prevention things, I think, will eventually find their way into the broader aspect of community risk reduction, where we're trying to find ways to reduce the risk prior to the actual incident and get out there and actually affect change prior to the incident. So I think that can be huge. So quick introduction. Like I said, I already kind of introduced myself. I want to thank you for taking the time to let me speak to you today, and then we'll just go ahead and jump right into it here. The future of community risk reduction. In dissecting the fire culture, it's imperative to delve beyond response times and incident management practices. Those are the things that we all are familiar with. We know how long it takes to get there. We know what we do when we get there. But our recent data indicates commendable improvements in response times, yet a paradigm shift towards a preventive culture remains imperative. We need to be working. How do we keep these incidents from happening? How do we prevent incidents from escalating, and how can we keep them at the lowest level prior to a response being need to happen? Success stories, from all different regions. They bring a transformative influence, provocative measures, advocating for cultural evolution within our departments. We must instill a sense of pride and responsibility in our firefighters, fostering deep-seated commitment to prevent alongside response. This cultural shift requires comprehensive training programs, leadership endorsement, collective understanding that prevents fires, and a crucial and preventing fires is as crucial as extinguishing them. So, just the fact that preventing fires, while it's not sexy and it's not what firefighters want to do, firefighters want to fight fire. Ultimately, we have to take that step back and say, how are we having the greatest influence in the community? Well, that's by preventing the incident from happening, because ultimately we want our community safe. So it's a little bit of a mind shift that we have to bring in with a culture shift. Within cultural transformation, collaboration emerges, and as a cornerstone, we need to encourage interdisciplinary cooperation between fire departments, local authorities, community leaders, to create a unified front against potential threats. Embracing a proactive mindset involves not only adopting advanced technologies, but also promoting a holistic understanding of community needs. By investing in ongoing cultural changes, we pave the way for a fire service that not only reacts efficiently, but anticipates and mitigates potential risks. Again, we're just saying that, hey, we want our community and our departments, not just fire, but all of our public service departments, to be saying, how can we help prevent incidents from happening, whether that's fire or whether that's medical. It's gonna have a huge influence on the success of the fire service, and then going forward, how we're able to provide services to the community. And additionally, we need to work on empowering firefighters to be community advocates. We build trust through transparency, community involvement, and open communication. This is going to be central to cultural evolution. We have to say to our firefighters that they're valued, that they are important, that their thoughts and that their ideas matter, and that we as leaders in the fire service, we want those thoughts and we want those ideas, and then we can try to implement change based on that, because ultimately it's going to come down to them doing the work every single day. Recognizing the value of the community as active partners, prevention fosters a sense of shared responsibility. Thus, our journey towards a transformative fire service culture is not just about making improvements, but about ingraining proactive ethos that resonate through every firefighter, department, and the community we serve. Again, really driving home the point that we need to work with the community, with our fire service personnel, in order to foster a change that's going to be lasting. So I'm sorry. So that was kind of skip past this slide here, but that was my first slide on fire service culture and how we ourselves got to be part of that change. So moving on here, working with the citizens and community outreach, navigating the community with an understanding of its diversity. We navigate the diverse landscape of our state or region requires a nuanced approach to the community outreach. Demographic data serves as our compass, guiding and tailoring to outreach programs to address specific needs with varied communities. Our community's outreach should not merely disseminate information, but foster an inclusive environment that resonates with the cultural fabric of each locality. Recognizing and respecting diversity is not just imperative, but a strategic necessity in our mission to cultivate a safer environment. So to elaborate a little bit there, without all of the jargon that goes with that statement, is, we need to know who we're serving, and we need to help them help themselves by saying, well, culturally, these things have led to incidents, and how can we affect that? What is the cultural difference between the community that we serve and myself, and then how can we align ourselves with that and have a better understanding of them? And then if I culturally do align with that community, then I have insight into there. And so that's where that diversity piece comes together. We as a diverse service can really do the most good, the most understanding of our entire community. Motivate these large groups. We need to draw inspiration from successful models elsewhere. A collective responsibility mindset is a linchpin in driving stronger community engagement in fire prevention, utilizing narratives, case studies that highlight and the tangible impact of community involvement can inspire action through targeted outreach events and culturally sensitive communication strategies. We bridge the gaps and unite communities under a shared commitment to fire safety. So we just got to work together to really understand who we're serving, and then be able to say, hey, this is what's affected change in a community very similar to ours. And then how can we do that here? But then maybe a bigger piece of that is, if we want to be on the tip of the spear, then we're going to affect change, and then we're going to share those wins with other communities. And I think that that's ideally what each fire service wants to do. Digital platforms, social media will amplify our outreach efforts, providing a dynamic space for engagement. Analyzing successful examples will uncover the power of online communities and disseminating information and resources. By leveraging these tools, we can create a virtual network that transcends geographical constraints, connecting communities, sharing best practices, and fostering a sense of unity in our collective pursuit of fire prevention. So, we know how huge social media is, and we've got to get out and engage through social media. Establishing networking among communities. So the power of GIS mapping data lies not just in identifying high-risk areas, but in strategically establishing networking efforts that can mitigate potential threats. By mapping out these areas, we can develop targeted networking initiatives to bring together communities facing similar risks, creating a collaborative network focused on prevention. Recognizing the effectiveness of these efforts lies in their inclusivity. We can foster a sense of unity among diverse communities. So again, this is more talk about how we gather information, understand, well, in this certain demographic area, in this community location specifically, we're having this type of an incident on a regular basis. How do we affect change within that localized community? And I think in general, the fire service has just not done a great job over recent years of saying, here is a risk and how do we mitigate it? And a great example of that would be, I know that in my community, we have totally rolled back, done away with school visits. We don't do them anymore. Unless a school asks us to visit. It used to be something we did on a regular basis. Went to schools, educated children. We started fostering that fire prevention piece early, and we've just decided that it's not worth it. The juice isn't worth the squeeze. I disagree. Community engagement is huge. So again, along with this, establishing these networking in the communities, of course, that's going to be through interpersonal relationships, but it's also going to be through communication and social media. It's just such a big piece of everyone's lives now. It doesn't matter if you're 10 or 89, you are probably using social media in some way, shape, or form, and it's essential for engagement. We have to do it. This is going to help us immensely, and we're going to get out and make contact with the community that way. Those interpersonal relationships, again, we need to foster interpersonal connections within and between communities. That's essential. Community events, workshops, forums provide opportunities for face-to-face interaction, strengthening the bonds that underpin a resilient network. By combining the advantages of digital platforms with the personal touch of in-person engagement, we can establish a robust network that enhances the overall effectiveness of our efforts. So when it comes to that community risk reduction piece, it's about having community events and then showing those in a broader way through social media. So if we are doing a school visit, we need to be able to put that on every social media platform available and get it out to the community. And that's going to have a huge impact on everyone. And even, you're taking a small event and having a huge impact. And so that's going to be a huge deal for the future. So next we're going to talk about motivating and preparing fire educator groups. In the realm of fire education, data serves as a beacon guiding our efforts to reduce incidents through effective programs. However, sustaining motivation and preparedness among fire educators requires a commitment, to ongoing professional development. By showcasing available training opportunities, certifications, and resources, we empower educators with the knowledge and skills needed for the impactful fire safety education. This investment in our educators is an investment in the future safety of our communities. So we're talking about getting some highly motivated individuals that are leading up these teams, that are going to be at the front of the community risk reduction programs, that are going to be the feet on the street, really out there doing the hard work. The role of the fire educator extends beyond disseminating information and involves inspiring behavioral change, instilling a proactive mindset. Real-world case studies and success stories underscore the tangible impact of a well-structured education program. By highlighting these examples, We can motivate educators and emphasize the significance of their role in shaping community behavior and preventing fire incidents. Moreover, fostering a supportive community among fire educators is crucial. Establishing networks, mentorship programs, and collaborative platforms allows educators to share best practices, learn from each other, and stay abreast to evolving trends in the fire safety education. By creating a community of motivated and well-prepared educators, we fortify the foundation of fire prevention initiatives. So, you have to have a group of fire educators that are going to be going out into the community and within the fire service, educating all of us who are going to be interacting with the community on a daily basis, saying, here is why this is important, and here is how this is important. And not only is it going to make the community safer, but it's going to make your day-to-day better. And I think that's how you're going to get that buy-in from your department as a whole. But your educators have to be supported. If they feel like their efforts aren't being fruitful, that their efforts aren't really that well received by the department as a whole, it's going to be demotivating, and it's going to be hard for them to really charge into that. So a huge piece of that. Training, education, professional development. Our current state of training and education in the fire service reveals opportunities for improvement. Recognizing the need for adaptation, we need to think about the integration of technology and virtual training methods, from augmented reality simulations to online courses. Embracing advancements ensures that our training strategies align with changes in society and workforce by staying ahead of the curve. We equip our personnel with the tools and knowledge needed to navigate the evolving landscape of fire prevention and community reduction as a whole, and not just fire prevention. Community reduction, risk reduction. There's so much new technology out there. There's so many new things that are available for training tools. Just yesterday, I participated in some training with some live action mannequins. It was the EMS training event, and these mannequins, they do everything but talk back to you. They breathe. They have a pulse. They give you a 12 lead EKG when you put leads on them. They have differentiating lung sounds and respiratory rates, and it's pretty cool stuff. And you get live feedback on a monitor, just like you had a patient. So it ups the game for those scenario-based efforts for our EMS world. And we talk about community risk reduction. Well, that's technology in place, reducing the risk to our community by saying, here's a tool that you can use with a live proctor, making changes to the patient outcome based on your interventions. So, if you'd have told somebody 30, 40 years ago that we were going to have those tools, they wouldn't believe you. So let's only can imagine where the future takes us. Technological integration goes beyond training methodologies. It extends to data-driven decision-making, analyzing incident data, response times, and community needs allows us to tailor training programs effectively. By harnessing the power of data, we can identify trends, anticipate challenges, and develop targeted training initiatives that address specific areas of concern within our communities. So again, we're just saying, hey, let's get all the data. Let's understand what's happening out there. How is our community being risked or threatened, or what's the risk, the high risk incident, and then how do we affect change? And we use technology to gather that information. Furthermore, professional development should not be confined to technical skills alone. It could encompass leadership and communication skills, training our personnel not just to respond efficiently, but to lead and communicate effectively ensures a well-rounded and adaptable workforce. By investing in comprehensive professional development programs, we prepare our personnel to be not just responders, but leaders in the ever-evolving landscape of fire prevention. So, we, a lot of times, again, going back to one of my earlier comments about being alpha personalities in the fire service, we tend to think that we are already the best version of ourselves. And that's just not the case. We need growth. We need development. We need professional development. We need personal development, interpersonal skills. all of those things are going to make us better. And they're going to make us better not only in our professional world, but in our personal life. And we need to provide those type of training opportunities to every single person, and every firefighter, and every member of the fire service can benefit from those leadership skills being developed, because the community views every one of us as a community leader. They see us as somebody that they can go to in that time of need. And if you are not ready to lead, that's going to be a problem. So that's something we could definitely do better in the fire service. Next, we're going to talk about something that is very prevalent in the fire service today. That is changes in workforce and society. We got demographic shifts and societal changes hold profound implications on fire service strategies. As urbanization patterns evolve, populations grow, technologies advance, our strategies must adapt to meet evolving needs of our communities. The data points to a shifting landscape that demands innovation and flexibility in our approach to fire prevention. In this segment, I'm going to delve into the specific changes in our workforce and society, outlining strategies to align our efforts with these evolving dynamics. Urbanization trends indicate a concentration of populations in certain areas, requiring tailored prevention initiatives in densely populated urban centers. At the same time, suburban and rural areas may present distinct challenges, necessitating nuanced and localized approach. By understanding the unique characteristics of different regions within our state or region, city, we can develop strategies that resonate with specific needs of those diverse communities. So, we need to be saying, how is the area that I have responsibility for changing? What does it look like 10 years from now? Not to call any department out specifically, but the department that I am in particular has had a failed history over the last 20-ish years of keeping up with demand for fire stations. Recently, a study was done stating that we needed 42 fire stations based on our population and call volume. We have 22 fire stations. So that is just a great example of not seeing the future urbanization developments and saying, we got to get out in front of this thing, because it's only going to be an exacerbated problem, and you're never going to be able to reduce community risk when you're 20 fire stations short. So just an example, something to think about going forward. Technological advancements also play a pivotal role shaping our approach, from smart home technologies, data analytics. Integrating these tools into our prevention efforts shows for more targeted and effective strategies. By harnessing the power of technology, we can enhance our ability to detect, prevent, respond to incidents in an increasingly connected and technologically advanced society. So early detection stuff, cameras in place. I mean, the world's your oyster when it comes to technology. Again, it's just one of those things that we don't know what the future holds. So it's going to be pretty interesting to keep an eye on. And one piece that I want to hit on is this workforce changes. Every generation is a little bit different than the last one, right? Those generational changes happen. Technology changes people. Society changes people. People are going to change. Generations are going to change. So we have a habit in the fire service of saying, well, this new generation coming in here, they don't want to work, whatever. And maybe that's partially true, right? It might be partially true. But what we have to figure out is, how do we adapt, and how do we change that mindset and make a cultural shift in the new generation of firefighter coming in to say, okay, but here is how we're going to do it within our culture, because it's ultimately not about you, it's about the community and about keeping them safe. That's what we signed up to do. So it'll take some change on our behalf as well. So moving on to future challenges. Anticipate future challenges and integral to crafting resilient fire prevention strategies and community risk reduction strategies. The impact of climate change, population growth, emerging technologies looms large on the horizon. By identifying these challenges early on, we can proactively develop strategies to address them. This section, we're going to talk about future scenarios, emphasizing the importance of adaptability and forward thinking in our approach to fire prevention. Fire is affected by climate change specifically. It will affect our communities. And, not to get into a debate on whether, the science of climate change is or isn't there. The fact of the matter is that we are seeing larger scale, fast moving, very dangerous fires that are driven by climate. And because of the urbanization of communities, some of those fires that would not have 10 or 15 or 50 years ago affected a urban community are devastating urban communities. And so that's something that we are going to have to face head on, and community risk reduction could play a huge role in that going forward. Population growth brings about increased urbanization of higher density of infrastructure. It impacts our ability to prevent and respond to fires. Comprehensive urban planning and community involvement could ease some of this and help us to mitigate impacts, especially on fire incidents. We're getting tighter spaces in those already urban areas. We're building up and not building out, and people are living on top of each other, and so those all present really dangerous fire scenarios. And especially, when you talk about things like pandemic situations, we could have, terrorist attacks, and all of those things that could go into those urban areas. It could be very devastating. But again, we need to embrace the technology, because emerging technologies present both opportunities and challenges for fire prevention. Advanced fire detection systems, use of artificial intelligence to predictive modeling. Staying abreast of technological advancements is crucial. However, the adoption of new technology also requires careful consideration of ethical and privacy implications. By engaging with experts in technology and ethics, we can navigate the complexities of integrating emerging technologies in our fire prevention strategies, responsibility, and effectively. We need to, while cameras may be great in certain locations for early detection, we need to be aware that there is a potential to violate somebody's privacy, putting a camera somewhere that may be invasive. Community risk reduction leadership within the fire department. Within the fire department, the role of CCR chief officer is pivotal in driving cultural change. We're going to outline some of the responsibilities, best practices, fostering strong leadership. We ensure that our departments embrace practice approach to fire prevention. Discussion, we're going to explore some transformative impact, effective leadership, overall cultural and effectiveness of fire prevention efforts. The community risk reduction chief officers are not just administrators, but visionary leaders who will set the tone for the entire department. Their role will involve championing the importance of fire prevention, instilling a culture of continuous improvement, and fostering a sense of accountability within the department. The leadership extends beyond the confines of fire station, involves actively engaging the community, building partnerships, advocating for fire prevention at the local and regional levels. I think that we're going to see a huge increase in responsibility for fire chiefs who are involved in community risk reduction in the future. We're going to need to reduce call volume in order to build a sustainable fire service, and that's going to be a huge part of risk reduction. In addition to visionary leadership, effective communication is a hallmark of a successful CRR chief. By articulating the importance of fire prevention, clear and compelling terms, they can garner support from both the department and external stakeholders. This involves not only conveying strategic vision for fire prevention, but also actively listening to concerns and insights of personnel, community members, and other relevant stakeholders. Furthermore, CRR chief officers play a crucial role in fostering cultural innovation within the department, encouraging personnel to explore new approaches, technologies, best practices. They can ensure the department remains at the forefront of the fire prevention efforts. And this involves creating a supportive environment that values creativity, adaptability, and continuous quest for improvement. So really, you want your community risk reduction chiefs to be forward thinkers who are looking for options, all options, and really open-minded to any way that can make your risk reduction improved. Last thing that I want to talk about is public safety personnel risk reduction. This goes into self-care. We're talking about our public safety personnel. We face occupational risk and incidents every day within the community. The data indicates areas we can implement risk reduction programs, including mental health support, fitness programs, and safety protocols. Prioritizing the well-being of our personnel is not only ethical, but critical for maintaining an effective and resilient fire service. Mental health support for our public personnel is a cornerstone of risk reduction initiatives. The demanding nature of the work can take a toll on mental well-being, and addressing the aspect is paramount by implementing counseling services, peer support programs, mental health awareness campaigns, create a supportive environment, prioritize mental health for our personnel. And I think a large piece of that as well is just workload. And so community risk reduction translates at some point to call reduction. At least that's the way that I perceive it. And that translates into a more mentally and physically rested and capable firefighter, ready to run that high acuity call without running low acuity, possibly not 911 3 or 4 times a night, and just being able to concentrate on that call for service that is, in fact, a fire or a cardiac arrest. So something to think about. Fitness programs play a crucial role in ensuring physical well-being of public safety personnel. The physically demanding nature of duties requires a level of fitness that can mitigate the risk of injuries and enhance overall performance. By incorporating regular fitness assessments, tailored workout programs, and access to wellness resources, we empower personnel to maintain optimal physical health. Look, we all know how physically demanding this job is. A fire service career will take a toll on your body, and we have to provide everyone in the fire service with every resource possible to take care of themselves. We're asking people to commit to careers that are 30 years plus long, and they are not going to be able to do that based on call volumes in most of the urban areas without staying extremely healthy in their spare time. And then also being able to work on their health, fitness, nutrition when they're at work. So take care of your people and yourself. Safety protocols, obviously fundamental in minimizing occupational risk for public safety personnel and firefighters specifically. This involves not only rigorous training and safety procedures, but consistent enforcement of safety. Regular reviews after incidents, incident debriefings, and the incorporation of lessons learned in the training programs contribute an ongoing commitment to improving safety standards within the fire service. So obviously nobody likes disciplinary actions, but listen, when there's a safety problem, we need to address it, and its discipline is deemed necessary, then we hope that prevents a further incident in the future or a secondary, more severe incident. So something to think about, that does translate into risk reduction, not only for your personnel, but for the community, because we want to keep everybody working safely and send them home at the end of their shift safely. I hope you got something out of my presentation. It was a pleasure speaking to you today, and until next time.